Welcome to Beardy, Bruce Lee Central.
Hey everybody, it's Birdie here. What's going on, guys? Okay, so I've got some breaking news for you guys today. I literally just got this news today, and the source is as legit as they come. I know this guy, he used to work on Enter the Dragon and other martial arts movies. So this guy is as legit as they come. If he says something, then it's the truth. So here is the news, guys. It turns out that Bolo Yeung and Bruce Lee had a sparring match. We already know that. I've already talked about this in other videos, that Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung had a sparring match and that they also had a regular fight because Bolo Yeung wanted to test Bruce Lee. But it turns out that the reason Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung did not have a fight on Enter the Dragon, the movie, is because Bolo Yeung got knocked out by Bruce Lee. And after that happened, Bolo Yeung threatened to leave the project. He was sent to the hospital and he had a concussion. So the whole production was on ice for a couple of days until Bolo Yeung returned, and he threatened to leave the project. And Bruce Lee had to convince him to not leave the project, essentially. But the whole scene of him fighting Bolo Yeung, because originally Bruce Lee was going to fight Bolo Yeung on Enter the Dragon, that whole scene was scrapped because they thought that Bolo Yeung was going to leave the project after they had their fight. And so this source that I talked to, he saw the actual fight. He saw Bolo Yeung got knocked out. And what happened is that they were having a sparring match. That's what you're seeing in this photo right here, a sparring match. And the sparring match turned out to be more aggressive than they originally had agreed upon. And it ended up just Bolo Yeung getting pissed off and angry. And he started to getting more and more aggressive. And I mean, Bruce Lee just knocked him out. And I understand why Bruce Lee did it. He's had to stop Bolo Yeung's aggression. And the only way he could do that is to knock him out. I know it seems brutal, but I mean, what's he supposed to do? Just take Bolo Yeung's aggression? I mean, so I understand that Bruce Lee had to knock him out. Because from my source, it seemed like that Bolo Yeung was getting too aggressive, you know? It went from a light sparring match to a harder sparring match and to a full-fledged actual fight. And then Bruce Lee just said, okay, I just have to knock this guy out. And that's that. That ended the fight just right there, you know? So yeah. So this means that they had a sparring match. They had their close short fight that I also talked about, and they had a full-fledged fight where actually Bolo Yeung got knocked out. And it makes sense. Why wouldn't Bruce Lee fight Bolo Yeung on Enter the Dragon? It doesn't make sense, right? But now we know why. It's because Bolo Yeung threatened to leave the project, and when he threatened to leave the project, the writers and the producers just scrapped the whole scene because they thought he would never come back. And eventually Bruce Lee convinced him to come back, and he came back and they finished the movie, but this time without Bolo Yeung as one of the guys that Bruce Lee fights, just as one of the characters in the movie. So wow, what a turn of events, guys. Yeah, what can I say? I mean, I don't think Bruce Lee had any animosity towards Bolo, but when Bolo Yeung got angry and aggressive towards Bruce Lee, I think Bruce Lee just had to knock him out. And you've seen my previous video where you see Bolo Yeung fighting Bruce Lee. That's part of that sparring match that turned into a full-fledged fight. So you're actually watching the beginnings of a full-fledged fight. Unfortunately, we don't have any footage of the full-fledged fight because it happened so fast. There's probably a photo out there somewhere. It might turn up. If it turns up, I'm going to share it with you guys. But right now, we know that Bruce Lee and Bolo Yeung had a full-fledged fight where Bolo Yeung got knocked out and sent to the hospital. Damn, guys. I mean, that's we know that Bruce Lee is capable of knocking out anyone, but that he did it so fast, that's pretty amazing.